With the recent announcement that Portal 2 Community Edition is leaving closed beta soon, my mind has been thinking about the vast world of Portal mods a bunch. When it comes to Valve's game lineup, Portal is probably the biggest red herring. It is technically a first-person shooter, but it's more of a puzzle game than anything. However, there is a very devoted community to Portal games. Since Valve doesn't release third games for whatever reason, the community needs to take it into their own hands for more Portal content. Valve already took a step with the perpetual testing initiative, but there's only so much you can achieve in a single map file. When fans realized they could publish their own fully custom Portal 2 mods, the floodgates were opened, and many Portal 2 custom campaigns were released. Today, I want to take a look at some of them, and I'll figure out what's wrong with forbidden testing tracks along the way. Once I finish reviewing each mod, I'll give it a scale of 1 to 10 to find out the ultimate Portal mod or something. I don't know. This is probably the most influential Portal 2 custom campaign, and with technically 44 test chambers, there is definitely a lot to this mod. Portal Stories Mel follows an Olympian named Mel, employed by Aperture in the 50s for a new test, featuring a containment pod to keep whoever's inside for a prolonged period of time. However, when Mel gets in the pod, she falls into a deep slumber, and I mean deep. Up, she meets a core named Virgil, and Virgil wants Mel to escape Aperture and help him, as he's currently stuck in a junkyard in the enrichment center. However, as Mel is making her way up to save Virgil, a mysterious voice claims that it's flooding the building, and Mel quickly escapes to modern Aperture. She gets Virgil and saves him, and the two of them run away from the voice, whose name is Aegis. After shutting down all of the production facilities, Mel and Virgil confront Aegis, and using modified turrets to shoot down the servers, Mel shuts off Aegis. He quickly learns that he was actually built to keep the main core, GLaDOS, off by killing him. Mel has just let GLaDOS reawaken whenever she can. That's not her problem though, and Mel gives her final goodbyes to Virgil and rides an exit elevator up to the surface, revealing that she's in a post-apocalyptic world. Portal Stories Mel is infamously one of the hardest challenges a Portal player can endure. The game is so hard upon release that the devs had to go over every test chamber to make them much easier. Even with that nerf, many chambers, specifically the ones in Chapter 4, are very hard. Like, so hard that I skipped like a bunch of them, they just aren't fun. The new portal gun design, however, is very cute, and this mod started a trend that every mod is now required to have a custom portal gun. The boss fight at the end is pretty good, although for a good while I had no clue where to go after you beat it. There are no new testing elements introduced in this mod, which is a little sad, but that's not a big deal. This game, however, looks and sounds very good. I mean, it's essentially a given that whenever Harry 101 UK is employed to make the songs, it's gonna have a banger soundtrack. But I constantly get testing begin stuck in my head. It's such an earworm. The mod also looks pretty good too, like your average Portal 2 Hammer custom map. Especially the chests in Chapter 3 look really nice and pretty. Virgil and Aegis' designs are very neat, although I feel like Virgil doesn't look like he's actually saying any of the things he says. For a good chunk of the game, he just uses the idle core animation, which makes it feel like he's not doing anything. The Cave Johnson voice, however, is...
Greetings, astronaut, war hero, or Olympian. My name's Cave Johnson. Boy, do I have something to show you.
7 out of 10. I have such a complicated relationship with this mod. It's the biggest wet fart you could ever get out of Portal 2. Don't get me wrong, this mod isn't great, but it's also not very good either. So after Chell escapes Aperture, it's revealed that she is still in Aperture, which defeats the whole story thing of Portal 2. She does some tests with a time machine replay mechanic before realizing that Atlas and Peabody killed GLaDOS for whatever reason. She then does more tests before time traveling back to the end of Portal 2, and GLaDOS doesn't understand why Chell is back. That's it. Thinking with Time Machine focuses around a sort of replay mechanic, where you can record yourself doing something, and then replay the recording, and a clone appears, replaying your exact actions. It is a pretty interesting idea, and apparently it was once used in Portal 2's beta, but you can only do so much with this gimmick. A lot of the puzzles just devolve to bringing a cube from point A to point B, and if you mess it up, then you need to redo it from the start. There are also barely any mechanics revolving around the portal gun itself, and it's more of a sideline compared to the time machine. In terms of the visuals and audio, however, I was waiting for this moment. This game looks incredible. It does not reflect the Portal art style in any way, but like the friggin' glowy panels are awesome. Like the huge lookouts into Aperture. Hell, if you look down, you can see your legs. Why? This glowy aesthetic is not like Portal, but I love it so much. It's so stupid and over the top, and the stupid amounts of patient grid spam makes everything all the dumber. I just love it. It's so pretty. As for the audio/soundtrack, there is none. 3 out of 10. I think this mod is probably the most middle of the road a Portal mod can get. It's not bad. You awaken in Aperture and a core named Nigel pushes you through some testing tracks using a new paint gun that can shoot the main 2 gels from Portal 2. You then make your way to a big ball of stuff called the ulcer, apparently, that keeps Aperture active. You then turn it off for whatever reason and run outside of the facility. Except that was just part of the test this whole time. You awaken in a pretty cool Truman Show reference, and then do some tests in this weird outdoor environment, meant to make you feel quote-unquote relaxed. You then hop onto a platform and descend into the fire, just like Portal 1. But alternative, if you press a button in an observation room from earlier, you can actually escape Aperture, for fakesies though. The gels, although they can be used in some pretty neat ways, are not nearly as versatile as the portal gun. The escape sequence is admittedly pretty fun, but this one jump is always super inconsistent. The ending is alright, but there's just not much interesting stuff happening here. A lot of tests just revolve around navigation, which doesn't really make this a puzzle game and more of a platformer. The last 2 tests are definitely the standout here, as they actually feel more like actual puzzles with a difficulty curve. The game looks alright. I like the running gag of Nigel just being places, that's pretty funny. His voice acting feels pretty bad though, and you can clearly tell that the voice actor is just reading off of a script. There aren't any other characters, and since Nigel isn't very interesting, there's not much here. The music is okay, it's like the average Portal music. That's all. There is this pretty good joke though.
This one should be pretty easy. And the song. What? What is this? No. How do I get rid of it? Okay. This might have been your best performance yet. Unfortunately, the metal music was part of the test. So this test does not count towards your performance. Sorry.
There's just not much in this mod. It does have a little level editor, but that doesn't amount to much in my opinion. This is probably the Portal mod that had the biggest lead up to release. The idea of a time portal is just so obvious, so you knew people would be excited for this mod. You were a test subject using a new type of portal gun that can shoot time portals. After doing a bunch of tests, get put back into stasis. But if you do some quick maneuvers, you can actually escape Aperture, revealing the Combine infestation in the outside world. The story is very bland, very simple, and very short. But that's fine, because it's not the main focus of the mod. This is one of the 2 mods that I have not beaten legitimately. It is very hard, and it can be considered the hardest Portal 2 map pack you can play. The time portal just adds a whole new layer to the tests, and said new layer then adds 7 more consecutive layers when stacked on top of each other, just make it so incredibly hard to figure out where and what to do, but in a good way. Essentially, there are 3 main rules you need to follow in this game. Whatever you do in the present affects the future. Whatever you do in the future does not affect the present, and you can bring items from the future into the present, but you can't bring items from the present into the future. All these rules just make this mod incomprehensibly hard, but in a good way. This mod is designed to challenge you to the best of your ability. For a mod like this, there is no reason the devs had to have this much extra world building to it, however. Once again, they got Harry 101 UK to make the songs, and he even voice acted the main comedy relief character. So you know it is going to be pretty good. There's not much to it, but that's not the point of the mod. This, once again, is made to challenge you, and it's designed to rip your self-esteem apart bit by bit. I'd say it's an 8 out of 10. So I had to actually go onto the wiki to understand what's going on in this mod. So you are Rachel, who is Shell's twin sister. She wakes up for some reason and meets a personality core named Sake, who was made to make waffles, sure. She then picks up a new portal gun that shoots edgy dark blue and dark red portals. Rachel and Sake then make their way to a forbidden testing track named Quebec 7. After opening the door to this track, Rachel does some tests with new Aperture science testing equipment, including a gravity gun and a paint gun. But then GLaDOS wakes up because, gasp, this mod takes place during the events of Portal 2. We do some GLaDOS tests before eating a fake cake which was meant to kill us, but Shell puts Sweetly in control in just in time, and Rachel and Sake get saved. Yippee. We then do some backup tests or something, and get a fizzler gun which fizzles any object it touches. After it breaks in one test, Shell shoots the portal onto the moon, and Rachel in turn gets sucked out. We then do tests on the moon before going back to Earth, and this was a Backrooms video all along, you fools! This is the point where I just lost my mind. Why is the Backrooms an Aperture Science? Anyways, Sake finds us again and says that the morality core from Portal 1 has begun making a black hole to destroy Aperture for some reason. Once Rachel defeats the morality core in just an awful boss fight, GLaDOS, Wheatley, Sake, and Cave Johnson
Yes, I am. Let's
meet up in the central core chamber, and for some reason everyone decides to blow up Aperture, letting Shell and Rachel escape. But then G-Man shows up? I don't know. This mod is notorious for introducing multiple new test elements just to never use them again. For example, at the beginning of the game, we get introduced to the portal door, which is just simply a hammer editor world portal. We then never see a portal door ever again, just generally stupid. This mod does have custom music and voice acting, but the audio balancing is horrible. Sake does actually have a voice actor. For whatever reason, the creator of this mod put the core sound effects incredibly loud over Sake's voice, making it incredibly hard to understand what he's saying.
I just wanted to say it. Okay, it might be a lot, but we need to hurry up. The morality core has created some sort of black hole down in the lower parts of the facility.
This would be fine, but there aren't even custom subtitles in this mod. I mean, that's the one thing you should do if a character is legible like this. I mean, the dev of this game even used AI text-to-speech for this mod. Like, come on! I know I ragged on this mod a lot, but I do see potential in this developer. They are very clearly capable of doing stuff in Hammer, but doing it by making Portal forbidden testing tracks is not the smartest move. I really hope the dev does make more content, because this game has so much soul put into it, I can really tell, but it's just not good. Did you know that the creator of Portal Revolution commented on one of my videos? That's pretty cool. I think Revolution is, at the very least, the second best Portal mod. The only thing that it could compete with is Mel. You play as an unnamed test subject woken up for testing, and you do some tests. You then get launched into a room with one of this game's two personality cores, Sterling. Sterling says that he needs your help, and he guides you through the facility, even to an area pretty much outside. That he says that his main goal is to rebuild the central core, also known as GLaDOS, using a machine Aperture built called the Spire. You do some more tests, and although you do get a little off track, you actually do manage to get your way to the Spire. You do a few tests on it, and you actually see what this thing is capable of. It can transport any matter from one place to another instantaneously. You do the first test with a companion cube, and then you incinerate it, because of course you do. It's then time to attempt a test on the Spire with a human, and you volunteer to go into the chamber and get teleported. Unfortunately though, you bring your portal gun into the test, and the Spire malfunctions sends you down a lower layer of Aperture, specifically during the 1980s time period, which is pretty cool because Portal 2 didn't really explore this area much. Your portal gun has broken, so you're left to wander about down there, hoping to find a way out. You do find the portal gun in a little reference to the core hub beta of Portal 2, which is a nice little Easter egg. You Then explore a personality core testing area, where you meet Amelia Conley. She, after having a panic attack, explains that she is a human consciousness copied into a core, and she helps you manage these unfinished tests back up to modern Aperture. As you are doing that, she learns that everyone in Aperture has died, and it's all thanks to her, as she was the one who turned on GLaDOS. She also explains that she worked on the spire, and after climbing a bunch, you hop onto a Zoom call with Sterling. Sterling gets very angry at you because technically you caused a major malfunction by bringing your portal gun into the chamber. Conley is very confused, and she doesn't know what Sterling's mission here is. When he explains it though, Conley does not approve of that and tells you to not listen to Sterling, as reassembling GLaDOS using the spire would be an awful idea because GLaDOS was awful. You do some more tests before making it back to the spire, and you face off with Sterling, attempting to turn off the spire as it's teleporting test chamber chunks all over the place. Just as you think you've done it, it unfortunately overloads, and you get knocked out. When you wake up, it's revealed that a huge chunk of Aperture was teleported onto the moon, and Conley puts you back into stasis until she needs you again. This mod's puzzles feel very rewarding to solve, as they always have some clever solution, which was something I felt Mel was lacking. The 3 new testing elements introduced are very fun too, and I wish this game had a level editor, as I feel like I could make some very good puzzles with the Schrodinger cube. There were also a lot of behind-the-scenes exploration segments, which are also always fun. This game looks beautiful visually. It uses a specific branch of the Source engine, Stratosaurus, which really lets it stand out from other mods. The first test chambers have this slightly red tint, and I just love the way it looks. The soundtrack is also pretty good, although I can't remember a good chunk of it. The voice acting, also for the most part, is pretty good, but it feels like during the more intense scenes you can't really understand what's going on. The 2 new cores, Sterling and Conley, the 2 new personality cores, Sterling and Conley, although a bit derivative of previous games, are very fun characters, and the fact that Sterling is Conley's vacuum cleaner is really funny. Overall, I definitely think that this is the best Portal 2 community mod right now. I do think that there's a chance that Desolation or Community Edition could dethrone it, but for now, Revolution is my favorite Portal mod. 10 out of 10. I'd say the Portal 2 modding scene is just much more interesting than the Portal 1 modding scene at the end of the day. I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that Portal 2 is the only Source game to use this specific branch of the engine, which makes all the mods for it feel very special, because Portal 1's engine just uses the basic Half-Life 2 branch, which everyone knows about. If this video gets enough views, I might make a sequel going over the mods on ModDB, but for now, I'm gonna get back to making the Backrooms Timeline video. Bye bye.